And welcome to the ABC's live coverage of the 2010 election leaders debate on ABC One and ABC News 24 across Australia. You're watching live pictures from inside the National Press Club in Canberra, the neutral territory for the only planned head-to-head discussion between Julia Gillard and Tony Abbott. David Spears from Sky News is tonight's moderator, and the leaders will be questioned by a panel of three journalists, including ABC News 24's political editor Chris Uhlmann. He'll be joined by the Australian Financial Review's political editor Laura Tingle and the Daily Telegraph's political editor Malcolm Farr. The discussion will begin with opening statements from each of the leaders. Let's quickly take a look at the two contenders at the Press Club. First, Julia Gillard. Julia Gillard, who would be Australia's first elected female Prime Minister, was born in Wales 48 years ago. She worked as a solicitor before winning the seat of Laylaw in Melbourne in 1998. Tony Abbott has been leader of the opposition since defeating Malcolm Turnbull in a spill motion at the end of last year. He was also born overseas in England. Before his move into politics, he worked as a journalist. He moved into politics in 1994. Now, let's join David Spears for 2010 Leaders' Debate in Canberra.
Good evening and welcome to the National Press Club in Canberra for the 2010 Election Leaders Debate. Please make welcome Prime Minister Julia Gillard and Opposition Leader Tony Abbott. My name is David Spears. I'm the political editor of Sky News Australia, and tonight we have three of the country's best journalists on our panel to pose questions to the leaders. Please welcome Chris Uhlmann from the ABC, Laura Tingle from the Australian Financial Review and Malcolm Farr from the Daily Telegraph. Well, all of us have to vote on August 21, and tonight we want to help you decide who should be leading Australia. Both parties have agreed on a set of rules governing tonight's debate, but we want this to be a real debate as well, where we can hear what both of you stand for and the direction you'd like to take Australia in. Now, the opposition leader won the coin toss and decided to send Julia Gillard into bat first. So, Prime Minister, your opening statement.
Thank you very much, David. Thank you, Tony. In 27 days' time, Australia will make a choice. I believe it's a choice between Australia moving forward or going back. And I know you've heard me say those words before. So tonight I'm just going to take a few minutes of your time to explain what I mean by those words. I think Australia is a great country, the best country on earth, but it can be a better country. And that's what I mean by moving forward. All of that starts with a strong economy, with a prosperous Australia. And that's why, when the global financial crisis threatened this country, we did what we needed to do to protect Australian jobs. Now, that was the Better Economic Plan. And for the future, we have the Better Economic Plan, a plan to bring the budget back to surplus in 2013, 3 years earlier than scheduled and before any other major advanced economy in the world. An economic plan where we've given the mining industry certainty, and we will cut company tax because that will make a big difference for jobs in the future. A better economic plan where we can increase superannuation for more than 8 million hard-working Australians, a plan to support small business, and a plan to build the national broadband network, because that is so important to the jobs of the future and how we will live in the future. And with a strong economy, then we can provide the services that families need, great schools, decent healthcare. I'm absolutely passionate about making sure that every Australian child, every child, gets a first-class education. That's why I will deliver a national curriculum, why I will keep investing in the quality of the teachers standing in front of that classroom, why I will keep rolling out our trades training centres, because they're so important, just so important, to getting the real skills that kids need for life and for work. And it's also why I want to invest in a GP after-hours hotline so you can find a doctor when you need one. That's why I'll train 1,300 new GPs and 3,000 new nurses. Great services, good schools, that I believe takes us forward. I also believe It takes us forward if we have a sustainable Australia, not a big Australia. And that's why I want to make record investments in solar and renewable technologies. I believe in strong border protection and cracking down on people smugglers. I also believe this is not a time for us to turn back. If you want to lead this nation, you've got to have your eyes on the road ahead, not in the rear vision mirror. That's what I stand for.
Prime Minister, thank you. Mr Abbott, your opening statement.
Thanks, David, and thanks, Julia. This election is about a fair go for families struggling with cost of living pressures. It's about